Once upon a time, in the vibrant heart of Umuagu village, there lived a woman named Ezinne, renowned for her beauty, kindness, and deep wisdom. Her husband, Obi, was a hardworking farmer respected for his integrity. The two were seen as the ideal couple by everyone in the village. But there was one thing that troubled them deeply. They had been married for 10 years and still had no child. In African culture, the arrival of children is seen as a blessing, and after a few years of marriage without one, people started whispering behind their back. The village elders would make passing comments, and the women of the village would sometimes offer unsolicited advice on how to improve fertility. Ezinne bore it all with grace, even as it pained her deeply. One fateful evening, Ezinne had a dream. A tall, radiant woman with skin as dark as the night and a crown made of gold approached her. Ezinne, the woman said, her voice echoing through the dream, "Your prayers have been heard. By this time next year, you will bear a child. But know this, the path you will walk is not one of joy alone. You will have to face great trials, but your strength will carry you through." When Ezinne woke up, she was unsure what to make of the dream. She hadn't shared it with Obi, not wanting to raise his hopes too high. But as the days passed, she noticed something strange. Her body began to change, her appetite grew, and her stomach slowly started to swell. Could it be that she was finally with child? Excitement filled their household as the months went by. Obi was overjoyed, thanking the gods for finally hearing the prize. However, something was peculiar. Ezinne's pregnancy seemed different from other women in the village. Her cravings were odd. She would eat anything that made no sense, like chalk or raw yam, and she would often retreat to the riverside to sit for hours. Villagers whispered that perhaps her pregnancy was not a blessing but a curse. The time for the baby arrival drew near, and one stormy night, with thunder cracking the sky, Ezinne went into labor. The midwives gathered, and the village women prepared for the child's birth, while the men stood outside praying for the safe arrival of the baby. But as the labor stretched on, something was wrong. The cries of the midwives turned from joy to confusion, and soon they ran out of the hut screaming in terror. Obi rushed inside, only to be met with a sight he could hardly believe. Lying in the arms of Ezinne was not a human child but a baby goat. The whole village gathered around the hut in disbelief. Some cried out in fear, saying that Ezinne had been cursed. Others whispered that she had offended the gods, and they had punished her with a goat instead of a child. The once beloved Ezinne and Obi suddenly became the object of scorn and ridicule. Heartbroken and confused, Obi began to distance himself from his wife. How could this be happening to them? Ezinne, however, held on to hope, remembering the words from her dream. "This is a trial," she whispered to herself. "There is more to this than what people see." For months, Ezinne cared for the goat as if it were a child. She fed it, bathed it, and even sang lullabies to it. The villagers thought she had gone mad. Obi, filled with shame, stopped going to the village gatherings, but Ezinne never gave up. Then one year after the goat's birth, something miraculous happened. On the night of the same storm that had raged when she gave birth, Ezinne sat outside her hut, holding the goat. As the lightning struck, and the rain poured down. The goat began to change slowly. Its small hooves turned into hands, its fur into soft skin, and before Ezinne's eyes, the goat transformed into a human boy, a child of great beauty and strength. The village was in awe. The elders who had condemned her now sought answers. They summoned the oldest seer in the land, a woman named Adora, who had lived for nearly a century. Adora told them the truth of Ezinne's trial. Ezinne was chosen by the gods, Adora began, not to give birth to just any child, but to a child of immense power, one who would unite our village and bring great prosperity, to see if Ezinne's heart could bear the weight of scorn, to see if she would nurture what others rejected. Her patience and faith have unlocked a great blessing. The boy whom they named Chima grew to be wise beyond his years. He was known not just for his strength, but for his kindness and wisdom, much like his mother. And as he grew, the village that once mocked his parents now celebrated them. Chima would go on to lead the village into a golden age of peace and prosperity, just as Adora has foretold. Ezinne and Obi, now old, were revered not just as the parents of Chima, but as the couple who endured the greatest trial the village had ever seen. And so the legend of Ezinne, who gave birth to a goat, became a story passed down from generation to generation. It became a tale of endurance, of faith, and of the mysterious ways the gods worked. Parents would tell their children, in every trial, there is a hidden blessing. You must only be patient enough to see it. And this is how the tale of Ezinne's strange birth ended, not in disgrace but in glory.